Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Jason, and today we're talking about 5 books that kind of changed my perspective on the way I look at things, whether that be life or finances. And before we get started, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate it. And we're just going to jump right into it. So the first book that I read that kind of like changed my perspective on finances, which I feel like it's a lot of people's first book that kind of they read that changed their view on assets and liabilities, and that's Rich Dad Poor Dad. I got a copy of it right here with a bunch of notes in it. But yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That book changed the way I thought about assets and liabilities, in a sense that it made me think twice before buying something and kind of realizing what assets and liabilities are, and that assets put money in your pocket every month and liabilities take money out of your pocket every month. And that's basically the whole grasp of what I got from that book. It also labeled the importance of investing in assets throughout your whole life to set you up for a better life, because most people in America and around the world, they'll buy a new car every 2 years, they'll buy a boat, they'll buy a motorhome, and they're funding it all with their paychecks. But their paychecks aren't getting any bigger to fund all these added liabilities. And what this book teaches you, it teaches you to go and get those assets first to then pay for the boat and the motorhome and the new car every couple of years. So it's basically the reverse model of what everybody else is doing, and it's a really great book, and I recommend it. Okay, so book number 2 is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Got a copy of it right here by Dale Carnegie. Now this book is extremely important, and I think everybody should read this. This book really helps you brush up on your communication skills. This book helped me realize that if I wanted to get my desired outcome in any situation, whatever it may be, that you need to intently listen to what people are saying, make them feel good, let them talk about what they like, ask them questions, and be really sincere, not just for personal gain, but like be sincere, make people feel good, make them, feel good about their accomplishments, what they're talking about. Also, if you can help someone get what they want first before you ask for anything in return, that will help greatly. Basically what the book teaches you is how to win friends and influence people, and doing that is through human psychology. And anytime you make someone feel really good about themselves or help them out in their situation, they're gonna want to help you out. That's just human psychology. You help someone, they want to help you, return the favor sort of thing. And this book helps you, figure out how to do that in the best way. It's a really good read, and it'll help you brush up on your human psychology, and it can help you in a lot of ways. It can also help you even get a promotion, have a better relationship, stuff like that. It's a really good read, and I highly recommend it. Third book. This one is also by Robert Kiyosaki, and it's called Cashflow Quadrant. Now this book explains the importance of owning a business. Now it talks about other things as well, like the different quadrants of employee, business owner, small business, and investor. However, the main point of this book is basically start some sort of business, because the tax code in this country favors people who have businesses, and the majority of the tax code really is about how to not pay taxes. A small portion of the tax code is telling you what you have to pay taxes on, and the rest of it is telling you what you can write off and how you can save money. So this book talks about the 4 quadrants of business owner, small business, employee, and investor, and it basically it just reiterates the importance of being a business owner. And even if you are a W-2 employee, you can still run a side business. Owning real estate is considered a business. So you can own rental property, you can be in an MLM and be able to write off expenses that way. There's a bunch of businesses that you can have a consulting business, mow lawns, on the weekend. I don't know, that's a business. So any business you can start will help you greatly at the end of the year come tax season. So that's what I got out of that book. Book number 4 is going to be Cant Hurt Me by David Goggins. Now, if nobody's heard of this guy, if you have not heard of David Goggins, you need to look him up and watch his videos on YouTube. This guy is an animal. Like, he's not even comparable. He's almost like not even human. It's crazy that the kind of mental strength this guy has. In this book, he talks about, his life from growing up to where he is now and all the struggles he went through and becoming a Navy SEAL and his childhood and stuff like that. And he's a stud. And it makes you realize that there's a whole side to your brain that not a lot of people really tap into, me being one of them. As you can see, I got a little bit of a double chin here, like, so this book made me realize I really need to tap into that strength that is in your mind, and once you unlock it, there's no going back. So this book shows how crazy your mind is, and he's an example of putting it to the test. Like, this guy runs multiple 100-mile races, and he was a Navy SEAL, and just incredible dude, and super mentally tough. And this book also explains that he uses physical, like working out and physical work, not so much for a physical gain to look good. He does it for a mental gain. He calls callousing the mind. So when something bad happens in your life, like a family member dies unexpectedly, oh my gosh, I can't talk. Unexpectedly, callousing your mind, you'll be able to get through that event a lot easier than if he calls it being soft. So I recommend reading it if you're trying to strengthen your mind. That's probably the best book I can think of for that reason. So 5th book is going to be Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. I think I said that right. Jocko Willink. Now, he is also a Navy SEAL, and what this book explains is he uses battle scenarios from when he was, in a Navy SEAL, and he brings it back to the business world, because he's now a business consultant. I don't know if he still does that, but I know he did do that when he came back. And he will take the lessons he learned from the battlefield to the real world. And the premise of the book is basically taking ownership of anything that goes wrong. It's nobody else's fault, it's your fault. You need to drop your ego, figure out how you can, do better next time, learn from the lesson, and don't let your ego get in the way and push the problem to everybody else, because especially in a leadership role, if you're a manager or if you're leading a team of people, whatever it may be, they're your responsibility. So if something goes wrong with that team, it's your fault no matter what. So you need to look at why it went wrong, how it went wrong, and how it's not going to go wrong in the future. And the whole book is taking extreme ownership. That's the name of the book. So it's a really good read, and I recommend that one as well, especially if you're in a leadership role, or you can brush up your skills of letting your ego out of the way and looking at a situation from a different perspective. So I think it's a great lesson and a really good book. So that was my 5 books that kind of changed my outlook on life, whether it be finances, physical, mental, social, stuff like that. And I recommend, if you haven't read any of those books, to put them on your book list and get to reading, especially if you're still in quarantine when you're watching this. Who knows how long it's gonna last, but Anyways, stay safe out there, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks, guys.